Hello and welcome to my podcast, Conversations with Cornelius, where I, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, discuss, chat and hypothesize on all things from fatherhood, marriage, comedy and everything else in between. From time to time, there will be special guests, but mostly it's going to be me and some regular contributors, including my main squeeze, Noelle Patricia O'Sullivan, aka the wife. So sit back, relax and enjoy Conversations with Cornelius. Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode of Conversations with Cornelius. I am your host, Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan, and I am sitting in the John Hume War Room. It is Sunday morning at 11:47 p.m. on the 26th of February, and all is well, all is well. I have a brilliant guest on today's show, a guest that I haven't had on since April last year, would you believe? And yeah, he's going to blow your tiny minds, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to blow your tiny minds. What's been going on with me this week? Great question. Thanks for asking. I am continuing the journey of edibles, and I'm finding them good. I'm just trying to get a base of I'm trying to just get a base where I can get the dosage right. But right now, I'm off the smoke, and I'm feeling good about it.
We've been enjoying some edibles today.
We had a little edible this morning. We went for a walk. This is today's guest. I'll bring him onto the stage in a minute. Conspiracy John is who it is, but I will give you a proper introduction. But like, you came to the house. You were here since 10 Sunday morning. We had a brownie. Half a brownie each, just a half,
just a tiny,
like a small little bit, and we went on a beautiful little walk there down by the Nano Nagel Centre, 3.8k. We sat on a bench. We haven't seen each other in ages. We had a great conversation.
It was a beautiful morning, really nice. Great to be back.
Yeah,
it's great to see you. Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah,
beautiful day. I love the view.
Yeah, no, it is great. It's great, and
nice Sunday.
It's a great, and like Sunday's a family day, and I'm going to a football match later this afternoon, and I'm looking forward to that. But like, we find it hard to hang out now because our lives are so busy.
Yeah.
So we have to kind of section in little times.
Couple of hours only.
Yeah.
Can't even get a full day anymore.
No. Back in the day, we got plenty of full days, man.
Jeez, we did. Maybe we wasted them all.
Oh, I don't think we did. Did we?
No, we didn't waste them.
Like, we could have been more productive in terms of making money. Like,
well, we actually made the most of them in terms of having the crack. So, well spent days, I'd say.
Do you remember the time when we were in? Do you remember the time we, like, God Almighty, when I think about it, we were going around to shops and we were going, hello, can I have something free, please?
I remember.
And we were in a competition to see what we could get the most free. And I think you ended up getting cinema tickets.
One of us got cinema tickets, I can't remember. We got a nice cup.
Yeah.
In a was it a
we
restaurant?
Were in Blackpool, weren't we?
Yeah, Blackpool. We got a good few things. That was in the...
it was an experiment we were trying.
We were doing a social experiment kind of thing. Well, that's what we called it. Killing time.
Yeah, we just didn't want to go cleaning windows. We were like, I'm going to bring you onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, this week's guest is a brilliant friend of mine. He was a groomsman of mine at my wedding. We used to run a window cleaning company together way back in the day. We were great mates for over a decade. And I haven't seen him in ages, and I love him. And here he is today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Conspiracy John. Crowd go wild.
It's great to be back, Cornelius.
It's great to have you back, man. It's great to have you back. Those days, man.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. Do you know what? I actually would love to do that experiment again, right? And try and see what you could turn that into cash then, like.
You could probably get quite a lot. You know, you could get really good at getting stuff for free, like any skill. So if you decided, I'm going to get good at this, bit of practice, you do that 25 times, gradually build yourself up.
Yeah. And you'll probably find something then. You'll be like, you know what? I'm able to get these empty tin cans, and I can actually bring them here, and they're giving me 10 cents a can. And the next thing, you're like just looking for tin cans.
Yeah.
And you've got a business selling tin cans.
Tin can. How'd you get into the tin can business? It's a good story.
Yeah, man. But it was. And did we get food as well? I think we got fed as well.
Did we get a bit of food? I can't remember. There was a couple of things. I remember the cinema. I remember the cup.
Yeah.
I don't really remember. I remember not much else about the
And I
day.
remember
The
both
rest-
our old dolls being not impressed.
Yeah, that was another thing. Yeah, I do also remember that. Maybe that's why I have removed the memory. It was great, and then it became not so great.
Yeah. We were like, we had. I'll never forget. We were window cleaners, but myself and we met in Abtran in Cork. Do you remember that?
Yes.
We were we were like the jilted generation. Like there was so many I remember that when we were selling. Was it half price movies and sports at the start? Was it?
You were selling half price movies and sports.
When did you come in
I
with
was
Truvo,
selling
was
some
it?
golden pages.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, with Truvo. Yeah, that's where I met you. And there was a doctor working
There
with
was
us.
a mix of people from all different
A
backgrounds.
helicopter pilot, an airplane
Yeah.
pilot. What's your
He
education?
was becoming an airplane pilot.
Oh, he was becoming one. Yeah.
Yeah. My education, I have a business background.
Yeah, you
I
have
have
masters and stuff.
I have a master's in human resource management and a bachelor of commerce.
It was the most
Oh,
educated
oh.
telesales team of all time. Like, honestly, when I think back,
Yeah,
like,
there was some really intelligent, smart people there.
Yeah.
It was a good mix, and everybody just there for their conversation skills. The fact that they could hold a decent conversation with a person on a phone, all of those people, that's all you needed.
and you didn't actually even need that; they'd hire you anyway.
Well, they give you a go.
Yeah,
You know,
they'd be like, "Look, you didn't sell anything
It was
today. Now we might have
mind-numbing.
to sell. We might have to fire you." But like, they never would. But
No.
it was high stress, shitty job. Like, but yeah, there's like. We were talking about this. That it was kind of like Matrix X. Like you kind of were plugged in and you had your headsets and you
yeah.
just had call after call. But then we were finding little jinky ways of getting out of calls. And
Then you spend your day trying not to work, which
Yeah.
is just stupid as well. So
Yeah.
unproductive.
but there must be so much money in it for big business because they must factor in that. Come here, these guys. We're going to have them here for 8 hours, but they're really only going to do
Oh yeah.
maximum 2 hours. Would we do 2 hours work a day? I wouldn't. I would be all out to do 2 hours anyway.
Yeah, well, they have metrics in place. This is what's interesting from knowing a bit of HR. Like, they have ways to make, even factoring that in. So they'd have models of exactly how much time they can squeeze out. Like, even the half-price moves in sports. Like, when you put in the targets and you say, well, look, if they're working towards the targets, they're going to have to do this amount. Even if they're not trying, we'll get this amount. And they'd have it all down to like science.
Yeah.
They were like, right, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
There's the return on
We'll get
investment.
100 people in. Fucking 70 of them are going to be
Yeah.
like this. 30 are going to be like that. And even out of those 30, their figures are still
I
probably.
suppose it's a launch at the end of the day. We
Yeah.
were booking meetings essentially for the account managers, weren't we? Like, that's what it was. Like, we were the lead gen.
But you remember we'd
for them.
have to go on calls for like a farmer, and we'd be like, log on there now to Truvo, and like sure I
I'm
can
in
barely
the car.
what you need to do now,
Truvo.
and just download this there now, and my Wi-Fi isn't working. Do you remember that? Like, it was such a joke. Like, but we all
Yeah.
we knew that it was a product that
It was great to do, so you know that it's not something that you'd want to do.
yeah. I think what it ended up being for me, it ended up being one of the best jobs I ever had because it made me.
Full circle there.
But like but what I mean is like it was a horrendous job. But what it focused my attention on what I wanted to do with my life. Like, I wanted to be a comedian, and I was like, right, okay, I need to make money, but I don't want to work for the man. And then you and me were sitting beside each other, and we were like, you were the same. I need to make money. I don't want to work for the man. What can we do? And we were like, well, we could get one of these back to work scheme things from the government. They give us
Back to work, who's it?
They give us or not back to work. Was it what was it? A business? If you were opening a business, remember they were giving you.
Yeah, it's like the back to work. I think that's
But
what
we were
it's
working.
called.
How did they give it to us when we were working though?
We didn't come up with the idea of the back to work for a while afterwards. We went out with the window cleaning first, and then we discovered we could do the back to work,
While we were
which
the
was
window
essentially a support payment while you get your business up and running.
Mm.
Ireland is actually great from that point of view, I
right.
must say. Like, in comparison to a lot of countries.
I actually
that
think so
was,
as well.
it was
because-
really helpful. It allowed us to both investigate different skills, and we're kind of looking at our sales and our entrepreneurial, and also just kind of execution, getting a business off the ground. It doesn't always work out properly, but
I mean, that was
it
a great
gave us the
business.
ability.
You're still running like you've a separate
Yeah.
window cleaning company, and I can tell you this, right? If my comedy ended in the morning, I would 1,000% go back to window cleaning because it's a stress-free life.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my fucking God.
It's lovely, like.
You just go, you get your few customers. They're always happy to see you because you're going to clean their windows and they don't want to do it. And they'll give you a nice price for it. And you just move on then to the, and oftentimes the money's left under the mat. You don't even have to talk to people. You can listen away to podcasts.
Yeah, it's
And
a nice,
simple,
a nice,
easy, stress-free life.
enjoyable. And you're outside, which is one of the nicest things I find with it. I just find it enjoyable to be able to just tip away.
Yeah, I love it. I loved it. I don't miss it now because I'm really fulfilled in what I'm doing. But like fucking, you can't beat a bit of manual labor, a little bit of something that and it's not skilled. Like, I mean, anybody can clean a window unless
super low stress. Like, you can't really make a really bad job of things. You know, it's
you won't
not the
drive
end
in
of
a
the
Ferrari,
world.
like, you know, but you will get a.
No, but I
focus.
mean, like, if you were a carpenter, like, you wouldn't be, like, you can do a really bad job.
Yes.
With a window cleaning, you can't do a really bad job. You know, things aren't going to fall down. So from that perspective,
the worst thing that could probably
it's
happen
low
is you break
stress.
a window. And
Yes.
I cleaned windows.
Never
and
broken
I
a
never
window.
broke a window.
Yeah.
Neither did you.
I think they're quite well reinforced,
Yeah.
the glass.
Yeah.
It's a solid glass mix.
Yeah, it's a great. I don't know now. We've gone off on a tangent here now about our past, but like, fuck it, like, do you know what I mean? It's great to reminisce. I haven't seen you
It
in
is,
ages,
yeah,
man. I
it's
fucking
nice.
love you, and I missed you,
Ah,
and I
love
hope
you
everything's
too,
going well for
brother.
you.
Yeah.
But just life is busy, man, isn't it? We'll be on
It
the
is.
WhatsApp. Like.
Come here, when we're retired, we'll just be hanging out all the time.
We will.
Do you know? It'll be great.
We'll
Couple
be
of
on
years,
audibles.
retire it. I always want to retire at 42.
What are you now?
I could be semi-retired by 42.
Yeah.
Semi-retirement, I think, is the way to go. Not full retirement.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to be doing something productive and working towards a goal and achieving, whilst also making a bit of money. But you don't want to be, well, I personally anyway, I prefer if it's not all consuming and too intense, where it's all I can think about. And it's much more enjoyable if you're kind of semi-working full-time.
Yeah.
But still,
I'm the exact opposite of that now at the moment.
Yeah,
like,
I am as well at the moment.
And I have to say, it sounds beautiful, and I want to get to that as well. But like life is just. I've been saying this on the podcast for the last couple of weeks or the last couple of months. I feel life, that actual time has sped up. And that like an hour is now like 50 minutes. Do you know? Literally. It's just fucking weird, man. I swear to God. And I would love to be. I love that notion, because I'll tell you, because we've gone from, we'll say, COVID, right, where we were doing fuck all, right, and now you're back and you're in your career, or you're in your job or whatever, and you've got your kids and you've got school runs and you've got all this stuff that you didn't have for 2 years, and you forgot how to do it, or you didn't forget how to do it, but you just weren't doing it, and now you've to get. I just feel like I'm fucking uphill at the moment.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I don't know if I'm alone. Maybe I'm alone. Maybe I'm a pussy. You know what I mean? But
pussying around for time.
Maybe I'm a puss.
Maybe you just need to man up and get on with life. No, I agree. Like, I mean, it's very, very busy. Like, I find the word intense, that I use that a lot with life. Yeah. That there's so many balls in the air. There's so many things to do. And as you said, after kind of 2 years of kind of foot off the gas a bit.
Fully retired almost. Yeah. Like, I was literally just minding my kids, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
and then all in,
minding my kids, making a few sketches, and that was it. No, had its challenges as well, don't get me wrong, you know. But, like, are we ever going to be fucking happy? Like, I mean, I loved hanging out with my kids, but I was ready to go back to work. And now I'm back at work, and I'm like, fuck me, sideways, this is fast. And it's, like, at the moment now, like, I'm running a lot of gigs, and I'm involved in a lot of those gigs, and I'm finding very little time to be creative in terms of writing, and that's what I got into the whole thing for. Is to be creative and to be writing and to be performing that stuff. And at the moment, I'm just really concentrated on the business, but that has to happen for it to all operate correctly. And so I'm trying to find the balance, John.
It's the balance, yeah. But, you know, we were talking about it earlier. Like, the more things you've got going on, the more things there are to almost annoy you or give out, like, you know, make your life busier and take away from what you need to do. Yeah. So, like we were saying, how much do you give away? How much is the right amount?
I think that is. I love that way of thinking, and I think that is not a common way of approaching things. I think people don't want to give away anything. I think the more you give away, the happier you will be. The less you have, like, do you know what I mean? It's like if you're running a business and you've got someone coming in, as a manager, we'll say, or whatever. If you like, I have a guy who's manager at the Cocoa Club, and I give him a percentage of the profits, but I give him a fucking good chunk so that he's super interested in the business and super interested in it being successful because it is rewarded to him on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
You know? No, I could be super greedy. I could be like fucking, because I could do the work that he does. Do you know what I mean? I can do it. I've done it for years, and I could take 100%, and I could be like stressed off my game, and definitely have no time for writing. So I genuinely think, I'm just using that as an example. Like, obviously we both have loads of other little irons in the fire and stuff like that. But I think take a small piece of the pie, but have a lot of pies. Do you know what I mean?
I agree. I think that's the nice way to do it. It makes it less. You're never too stressed with any one project then. You're only in as far. Yeah, I love that way of putting it.
Yeah.
Like, you're only in as far as what's comfortable, and if it becomes a whirlwind, you're in too far.
And set it up for yourself. Set it up. Go, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm going to bring this fella in here now, and I'm going to give him 50%. And I'm going to give him his body of work, and then we'll meet every week and we'll discuss that. And I'm going to do that over here then as well on this project. And then you're like literally only working maybe 1 or 2 days a week, and you're kind of project managing your own dreams.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's no one's going to come to you. And like, you know, you really, like, I suppose in comedy you do get, like, I often get people obviously asking me to do gigs and stuff like this, but like, I'm talking about like the regularity of stress-free income. You have to create that yourself.
You do. It doesn't just come to you. And it's only by trial and error that it ends up coming into being for you, because by trying it out, you just figure out, right, this is about where the balance exists. Yeah. That's all you can do, really, which is a painful journey as well at the same time.
Do you remember,
you know?
or like, I fucking love the way this conversation has gone. Do you remember when we started? So for the listeners, I'll just tell you, right? So myself and John met in Abtran, right? A call center. When was it? 2010? I think it was, or was it?
Yeah, about 2010, I say. Yeah,
I think it was 2010.
It was 2010.
So that's, what's that? 13 years ago, right? And we got chatting, and next thing we decided we were going to leave. We're going to open up a window cleaning and a lawn cutting business. We bought a couple of lawnmowers, and we got a few bits and pieces, and off we went. And we went out, literally, we got flyers, and we were putting flyers in the thing, and we were waiting. We thought the phone was going to just be off the hook, but like nobody was ringing us. And then we were like, okay, we're under pressure here. And we just started doing door to door. And we found by doing door to door that we were getting some mild success. But really and truly, it was mild, John, for the start. And like, no, it wasn't.
It wasn't zero.
It wasn't zero. It wasn't helpful that we were fueling our days with large amounts of marijuana, right? We would meet in the morning.
Is that what happened? I can't remember any of it.
But we were carefree, and but by this, there's a long way of getting on to my point here. Is we tried everything, and we were doing this. We did this thing called the spring clean special, where we would come to your house, we would cut your lawn, we would take away all the grass, we would clean all your windows for €30. People used to look at us like we had 4 fucking heads and go, "What? You'll do all that for 30?"
It was way too cheap, wasn't it?
We were like, we'll make €15 an hour. We were only getting 10 in Abtran, and we're going to get the dole or the back to work thing now as well. And we were working out. We thought it was great, but then I'll never forget. Then you were gone away for one weekend, and I had the van, and I had the window cleaning equipment in it, but I didn't have the lawnmower. And I said, I'm just going to fucking go pitching windows and see if I can just clean the windows. And I went up to the north side of Cork City. I'll never forget it. Glentoran is an estate up there.
Is it Moorview as well?
Moorview as well. And I went in and I got 3 window jobs for €30, and I had them all done in under 2 hours. And I remember ringing you going, oh my God, man, I've cracked it. Because we were like, this is shit. We were trying to find places to get rid of the grass. Do you remember we would drive into the middle of fucking nowhere, and like we'd be like, all right, go on, quick, 2 of us would hop out with all the grass in a Skippo bag. We'd fuck it into a ditch, and oh my God, I think back.
Yeah, it was hard work. The window and the grass. But yeah, you cracked it with the windows.
With the windows, and then we were like, all right, and you were like, oh, and then I came up with a sales pitch that we used to use at the door. And do you remember the pitch? Do you want to do it on me?
Oh no, we can't. Will we do the pitch?
Oh, please do.
Oh yeah.
So I'll be
do the
ding
pitch.
dong. Hello.
Hello.
Sorry.
Sorry for disturbing you there.
Who are you?
My own name's John.
Oh, right, okay.
I'm from a company called The Go-To Guy.
All right.
Just in the area,
Okay.
with a couple of your neighbours,
All right.
doing a couple of windows.
Huh?
I said I called you.
Okay.
You might be interested yourself.
In what?
I'm glad you asked. We'll actually clean all your windows, top, bottom, front, back, and side,
All right.
including we'll wash the frames of the windows as well.
Oh.
Clean down all the doors,
All right.
glass doors and non-glass doors,
Mm.
and wipe down the low sills as well. And it's only €35 to get the whole thing done.
All right.
So would you be interested yourself as we're around?
fucking throw me down for that? Yeah.
Oh, great.
And then you do that 10 times and you might get 4 yeses because it's such a pleasant, and there's loads of little inflections in that pitch, like for the buyer to say, yeah, because while John is saying that to me there now, he's been nodding his head as well and wiping his feet on the mat. But like,
oh
people
yeah,
used
class, scientific.
and it was just a pitch that we came up, and we didn't feel, and it's nothing to feel guilty about. It was a great pitch because we cleaned the shit out of people's windows then.
We cleaned windows
And they
in
got
every small town in
in
Cork.
fucking Cork, man.
Yeah.
Every small town. And then we were just we were getting better and better and better, and then we kind of had we had it all down scientifically, and we knew then we could expand.
Yeah,
But
we
then
know how many we could do in a day, and then it was just too much hard work.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
that's when it became what you were talking
That's when
about.
it reached the point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas if you can do it part-time, it's such a beautiful
No, it's a
existence.
part-time, you
Yeah.
know, and not even employing people because it's almost too stressful to make it big. You
Yeah.
know?
Amazing, man. Amazing.
Yeah.
Great times, like.
Great times indeed.
Yeah. Right, okay, we're going to do trending topics with Cornelius Patrick O'Sullivan. So, Conspiracy John, I knew you were doing this podcast now for over a week. So what I wanted to do is I went on looking at what was trending throughout the week. Normally when I do this, I'll go with what's trending on the day, okay? But you're a different kind of animal to my normal guests, and with very interesting outlooks on the world in which we live in. So I looked for specific hashtags that I thought might, I suppose, stimulate you
Excellent.
to discuss.
I'm intrigued.
Okay, so the first one we're going to do today is hashtag Ukraine-Russian war. So you know that it's a year, during the week it was a year to the day that the war in
Yeah,
Ukraine
I came across that. Yeah.
was across, and there's, I mean, I'll tell you what I know about it, which is just like, from my perspective, I think Russia has invaded Ukraine. There's untold lives being lost. Russia have never given up in a battle before. They're just throwing people and more and more people at it. The West now are starting to give the Ukraine some heavy military armor like tanks, and there's talks of fighter jets and all this kind of stuff. And it seems to be, to me, from the outside in, not living in Ireland, and you know what I mean, seems to me that it's getting more and more tense and more armed and more serious, and it's not all over. It's where it doesn't look like it's going to be ending anytime soon, and I sometimes fear that we're on the brink of a fucking catastrophe. But anyway, that's my opinion on the Ukraine-Russian war. What is yours? Which is what I'm really interested in.
Yeah, it's such a doomsday topic, isn't it? Like, even the energy of while you're talking about it, I'm listening to it going, oh God, like, it's so, like, lives lost and all of this carry on. Like, regardless, we could well be on the brink of a terrible war. Because what's his name? Putin pulled out of some Russian treaty, some world treaty about nuclear arms recently.
That's
in the
right.
last week.
And China.
And
refused
China,
to-
they're all gearing up together. It looks like I would not be surprised if the next years bring war in the news. Whether that's actually what's happening or not, in the way that we're being told that it's happening, for me is always up for question, because I'm not there.
Yeah.
And I would say, yeah, talk of war, maybe it is what they're saying, or maybe it isn't. Like, I see like news on my phone from like the BBC about what Putin's doing. Like, how do they know what he's doing? Like, in a wartime scenario, like, with accuracy. And like, there's a picture of him there. I mean, like, it all stinks to me, the news side of it. I don't know what's going on. There could well be
Well, it's all
atrocities happening that are what is happening on the news. Or, maybe it's not as bad, or maybe it's different to what they're saying. Maybe there's an internal fighting going on that is a totally different proxy war scenario to what we're being told is really happening.
Well, we have a photographer in the Coco Club. Her name is Alona. I can't pronounce, nor will I try to pronounce her surname. She's from the Ukraine. And she's a brilliant photographer now. I employ her. She comes in every Saturday and she does unbelievable photos. We use them for our Insta stories and our Instagram thing. And she recently got like a truckload of medicine and stuff, or like a carload of medicine, and drove across Europe and fucking smuggled it
Went
into
there.
Europe. Apparently, like, it's pretty fucking
War
bad,
zone. Like, they're
it's-
blowing stuff up, I have no doubt. But
Yeah.
whether it's been blown up by what they're saying is it blowing it up, whether
Yeah.
it's the Russians blowing up, or like, who knows even what's going on in the Ukrainian government, and how honest are they in their dealings. Like internationally, there is a big gang of groups going on which do collaborate together. Like, there's no doubt. Like
definitely.
of what's going on in the world is an orchestrated global event. What's happening in Russia, it was meant to happen.
This is
It's
my
part of the plan to bring the world to the steps of the place where they want it to go, in my opinion. So I just never, what's on the news and what's happening is always seems to be for a different reason than what we're told.
Well, there's no doubt that, in my mind, right, there is no doubt that propaganda exists on both sides of the fence, and like your point about how do they know what Putin, like, I mean, like, that's like, it's no more different to know, like, I don't know what my next door neighbor is doing down the road. Do you know what I mean? So, like, that is a very valid point as well. But it is interesting, and it is, I don't know, it feels really threatening or something. Like, I feel, even though it's so far away, there's another worry to fucking come in.
And all the prophecies are coming true, like from
What
Eastern
prophecies?
Europe. There's a load of prophecies of World War III. I looked into it many years ago. I can't remember the details. But there's lots of prophecies from Eastern Europe about the war and the build up to it and events that will happen by, what's your one's name? I
Oh,
can't
is the
remember.
blind girl Baba?
Could be her,
Yeah.
there's her, and there's another one or two out of that
Nostradamus
region.
is
Not Nostradamus.
Yeah.
So I think they were talking about events leading up to some of those prophecies coming true when I was looking at them, but I can't remember for sure. You'd need to check them out.
I'm going to try and check up here now, but what we'll do in the meantime is hashtag obey.
Oh, you gotta just obey. No choice. There's no point trying to do otherwise, because this world is designed so that you have to obey. You can't.
What happens if you don't obey?
It just makes you cannot obey. But I mean, when you're saying obey, like, I mean, obey the law. You have to obey the law. You can't go around, making life miserable for other people.
But
Like-
do you know the way? You definitely can't do that. But
Yeah.
you know, plenty of people do, right? But like, what about obey the law? Like, there's some laws out there, and there's just like.
Well, I would
the
say,
planning permission laws now, like, are just,
yeah.
they're so archaic. Like, I mean.
Well, that's by design, isn't it? To just make everyone's life miserable with bureaucracy
Yeah.
and just
Like, we've a
just
site for
bleed
sale
more
next to us there, and a local family tried to buy it, and they couldn't. I think he was a guard or a teacher, and I think maybe a guard and a teacher. Two good civil servant jobs, paying their taxes. Fuck, I think they're from the locality and everything, and they got turned down for planning permission.
But like
what
this
kind of a fucking world do we live in when you can't buy a site in your own village and put up a house? Now we live close to a main road, but there is like a separate entrance onto a tertiary road that they could get onto. Anyway, I don't know. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just fucked up, I think,
No, I think you've no for me, I have no choice. But like, as in, like, that's the perfect example of like, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Like, get uppity about it. Go and write a letter to some local councillor, and like the problem is you just kind of have to just suck it up and live within it. And I would say, like, be seen to obey, and if you have to obey, you just have to obey. What are you going to do? The man has got us. He's got us.
Last hashtag, aliens.
Yeah, aliens are what used to be a favourite topic of mine.
Dude, they're in the fucking news now, man, all the time.
Yeah.
They shot down a thing above Alaska.
Like Project Bluebeam kind of stuff.
And they're like, it was on mainstream news 2 weeks ago about this thing they shot down in Alaska, right?
It was all over the world. There was multiple ones all over the world.
And there was multiple ones all over the world, but this was like fucking on CNN, and it's all covered up now. There's like, they're not saying anything at all about it.
But they could be preparing for some sort of big show. Like we could, like the story is of, say, like the World War III prophecies, is that the world goes into a massive war and then it all comes together and is united. And then you could have what they speak of in some of the older conspiracies is that in the in the older conspiracies, in about the 1970s or 80s, they were talking about whether if they'd use an alien invasion to unite the world against a common invader, so that way they would bring about the New World Order kind of a thing, which is their big master plan, supposedly.
Is your man's name Humane Vitate? His bold predictions. Have Humane Vitate's bold predictions come true? He had 4 prophecies. Infidelity and moral decline is one. Lost respect for women. Abuse of power. Ultimate like, they're not prophecies.
That's just like the world for the last kind of 300 years.
What's he saying here now? Do you know what? I'm not even going to read that because it's so fucking
I don't know. Is he the guy?
Yeah,
I don't know if aliens are real or if they're already living here under the earth, or are they like, is an alien actually like something from another dimension, like in the Matrix when you go to the like between place, when you're in the simulation but not in the simulation, like a higher level. Is that, an astral realm kind of an idea? Like,
are aliens coming in from a different realm? Like,
are they able to?
Have they found a portal into this dimension?
Exactly. Like, is that like? There's all sorts of options. I don't know.
Yeah.
Or is it all just a big fucking fake show?
Do you know what? I don't know.
Could be all of the above.
But I tell you what now, ladies and gentlemen, okay? That's this week's episode of Conversations with Cornelius with Conspiracy John. But if you enjoyed this conversation and you would like to hear what John has to say on some really cool topics, you can tune into the Patreon, because it's going to be a Patreon episode of John straight after this episode as well. Thanks for listening. Stay in by the wall. I appreciate you all coming on, and I love you all. Good night. God bless. Adios, amigos. Good luck.